The hidden habits of the rich, what poor people miss out on. We know that most of you are on your way to making a lot of money, so we wanted to make a list of things that poor people do, rich don't. Even though the rich and the poor live in different worlds, they both have 24 hours in a day. Have you ever thought about what makes rich people different from poor people? It sounds like simple things. But here comes the difference between rich and poor, and knowing about these habits and activities could give you a small edge. And who knows what would happen if you stop doing them? You might be closer to reaching your goal. Here are 10 things that poor people do that rich people don't. Number 1. People who are poor watch a lot of TV. Let me say this way, if you find time to watch TV, you could be poor. I'm always surprised by how much time poor people waste watching TV shows that don't matter. It's one of those things that grabs you and doesn't let go, especially when you know who's dating which movie star and watch TV shows every week. If you have a popular news station, you can find the episodes there. Your life is most likely the way it is because you watch too much TV. So let's talk about celebrity gossip and buzz. It has nothing to do with you and only helps people who are already famous. One could say that wealthy people would rather be on TV than watch it, but I'm watching The Big Bang Theory, which is funny and helps me forget about my problems. The problem is exactly that. You stop thinking about your problems instead of solving them and getting rid of them. Where does John Lennon say that the time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time? But think about it. Is it really fun to sit and slide while watching a screen? Before we talk about the second thing, let me explain what we meant when we said that poor people might have a favorite news channel, say that the only good reason to watch TV is to find out what's going on in the world. The problem with that is that it's hard to stay up to date. From this, we can see that TV stations are always looking for their own magenta stories. Instead, use the internet to quickly find out what's going on in the world and then go do your own thing. Number 2, a lot of poor people don't care about their health, even though it's very important. What are they eating? Do you know what a real healthy meal should look like? Or do you not know much about food? People who don't have much money eat a lot of sugar and fats that are bad for them. They are hurting their bodies on purpose. And if you're not healthy, you can't do everything you're capable of. This will affect all parts of your life, including your body, mind, career, and relationships. Number 3. People who are poor buy clothes or other things that are on sale. Let me say it like this. Stocks are the only thing you should buy on sale. While poor people try to save or stretch what little they have, rich people are focused on making more money. Just give it some thought. The clothes that end up on sale are the ones that people who could pay full price could have bought. Didn't want to buy cheap clothes, you're just making sure that you look exactly like a person who can't pay the full price. Number 4. Poor people who wake up later than rich people do in their early years. Poor people are often more lazy than rich people. We know that the last sentence will bother some of you a lot, but statistics show that if you use your youth to improve yourself, you are much less likely to be poor as an adult. If you wake up late, on the other hand, you are more likely to stay poor as an adult. Don't educate yourself by doing things that don't matter. At some point, you'll be so far behind what the world needs from you that you'll be unhappy. The paradox is that people who don't focus on growth in their early years end up having to work much harder with less success later on. Number 5. Even in places where sports are very popular, there is no reason to watch them unless you're a professional player or the owner of a team. The same is true for TV. It helps you forget about your real life. Think of it this way. You're trying to put yourself in a position where you have no control over the outcome of the game. This attitude then sticks with you, and you end up being a spectator in life instead of a player or an owner. Then you criticize other people when you haven't done anything better. Number 6. Poor people don't take a bath as often as rich people. When we first heard this, we thought it was made up, but it turns out to be true. And when you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Most jobs today are in service industries, where people must be involved for a value exchange to go smoothly. People who don't take care of themselves will end up being less successful than those who do. People tend to trust them less. And when they're around, people want to spend less time with them. If people don't like them and don't want to be around them, what kind of romantic partners will they end up with? Even though it seems silly, the first step to success should be a shower in the morning. Number 7. Poor people say that other people are to blame for their bad luck. How many people do you know who have some kind of reason for why they haven't been successful yet, or who blame other things? Some things are out of our hands, but 99% of what happens in our lives is up to us. Remember that you are in charge of your life. You are in charge of the people you hang out with. You are in charge of your health, and you want these things to change. Make something happen, not how life is, what goes on with us. What matters is how we handle what happens to us. When something bad happens, the poor choose to be hurt by it, while the rich study it and try to figure out what went wrong, why it happened, and what they can do to keep it from happening again. While one takes on the role of a weak victim, the other uses it as a chance to grow. Number 8. Poor people don't have any money saved. One thing that sets poor people apart from rich people is that they don't plan for what's next. Putting money aside lets you grow. If you have saved money and something bad happens, the problem is solved, and you can get back to your life. If you don't and the situation is urgent, you can either sell something like your car or house. When the situation is over, you can take out a loan. The savings, while someone who is poor has had a big change in their way of life. When a chance comes up, those who have saved money now have the chance to improve their lives, while others can't afford to do so. That's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Number 9. One big difference between the rich and the poor is how they use credit. Simple rule: don't borrow money to buy something that won't make you more money than the loan. It really is that simple. You shouldn't use credit unless you plan to invest it. Want to take out a loan to buy a big TV? Don't want to borrow money to buy the new Supreme gear or use credit cards to buy the latest iPhone? If you aren't selling the Supreme gear for a profit or using your iPhone to make a new app that will help your business grow, you shouldn't put these things on your credit card. Instead, you should work and then spend the money. Number 10. We all know how much fun it is to have kids, but are they really, really expensive? People get stuck at this point when they try to make them. They don't believe it. To give you an idea, if you live in one of the more developed countries, it will cost you about $250,000 to raise a child because of a lack of education, because of their living conditions and other factors. Poor people tend to have more children and have them at a younger age than their rich counterparts, while the rich wait a couple of years until their living conditions improve so that their children can grow up in a good environment. The poor just go ahead and have children. Once the baby is born, they have to work hard to stay afloat and move forward. Almost nothing can be done besides barely making it. But if you know someone who does any of these 10 things, maybe this video will help him on his journey. Help them out by showing them this video. What do poor people do that you don't think rich people do? Tell us in the comments what you would add to this list.